The fabric of this shirt is rough. They don't make fabrics like this anymore. It's a thick, heavy polyester, full of tiny holes in the mesh. The blue is no longer that vibrant royal blue from back then, and the green on the sleeves is faded, tired. But the number 42 on the back? The number 42 still looks enormous. I run my hand over it, and for a second, I swear I can still feel the warmth of his body radiating from it. The smell of freshly cut grass, muscle pain ointment, and that woody cologne he used to wear on Sunday mornings. But it's just memory playing tricks on me. The shirt is cold, the house is cold, and the silence here in Seattle when the rain stops is the loudest, "My name is Eleanor. I am 80 years old, and I learned, far too late, that we spend our entire lives applauding people who don't deserve it, while leaving the ones who truly matter waiting on the bench until time runs out." I look at this Seattle Seahawks jersey resting on my lap, and it doesn't fill me with pride. People see it and think of glory. They think of packed stadiums, television, autographs. I look at it and see the receipt of a debt that was never paid. I see what was stolen from my James. James. Most people in this city, if they're old enough, might remember him as the Tank. Or maybe they remember a specific play in 1976, the year the team began. But I remember him before that. I remember him as the shy boy who held the door open for me at the church on Jackson Avenue, right here in the Central District, when this neighborhood was still ours, when it still carried the color and sound of our people on every porch. He was big. My God, how big he was. His hands swallowed mine. But he had a gentleness that didn't match his size. He was afraid of hurting things. He held a cup of tea so carefully, it looked like he was disarming a bomb. We got married very young. Those were different times. We didn't have much of a plan. We had faith. And James had that gift. His body was made to collide. That's what they said. He's a force of nature, his college coach once told me. And when professional football came to Seattle, when the team was formed, James was there. It felt like a dream. A black boy, son of a dock worker, wearing the city's uniform, being applauded by 60,000 people inside that concrete dome they called the Kingdom. I remember the noise. It was deafening. When the announcer shouted his name after a play, I would look around and see grown men, strangers, hugging each other, spilling beer, screaming my husband's name as if he were a god. Back then, our house was always full. Friends came from everywhere. Third cousins we had never met, neighbors who used to barely say good morning, businessmen wanting to propose investments, teammates who came to eat my food and drink our liquor. The living room was smoky. The turntable played Marvin Gaye or Al Green. And everyone laughed at James's jokes, even when the jokes weren't funny. They said, "We're a family, James." The coach said it. The team owner said it at gala dinners where I had to wear itchy dresses and smile until my cheeks hurt. The Seahawks family takes care of its own. I believed it. James, with his huge, naive heart, believed it even more. He thought that love was real. He thought those people in our living room, eating our fried chicken and drinking our whiskey, would be there if the roof ever caved in. But society is a people-grinding machine disguised as an awards ceremony. Everything changed on a Sunday afternoon against Oakland. It was raining, of course. It always rains. It was a stupid play, a play that didn't even matter that much. I was in the stands, as always. I saw the exact moment. It wasn't like in the movies. There was no slow motion. It was fast and brutal. A crack I heard from up there, or maybe I felt it more than I heard it. His body folded in a way the human anatomy should never fold. The stadium went quiet. That horrible silence of a crowd. They carried him off on a stretcher, and as I ran through the cold concrete corridors of the stadium, trying to reach the locker room, I heard the game restart. The whistle blew. The crowd started cheering again. They had already put someone else in his place. Their lives continued before my husband's stretcher even passed the infirmary door. The diagnosis was bad. The knee was destroyed, ligaments torn, nerve damage. Today, with modern medicine maybe, just maybe, he would have come back. But in the 70s, for a black man who was seen as nothing more than raw power, that was the end. And that's when the true nature of the world revealed itself. For the first 2 weeks, they still sent flowers. 1 or 2 teammates called, but as it became clear that James would never run again, that he would never score again, that he was no longer useful to the machine, the phone stopped ringing. Those dinners at our house? Gone. The friends who laughed at unfunny jokes? Suddenly too busy? The executives who talked about family? When James went to the office to discuss medical treatment and insurance, he wasn't greeted with hugs. He was greeted by lawyers. They found loopholes in the contract. Tiny clauses written in letters that needed a magnifying glass to read. They said the injury had pre-existing aggravating factors. They said they couldn't keep paying his full salary. They offered an amount that barely covered the hospital bills and then turned their backs on us. I watched my husband, a man who months earlier had been treated like royalty in this city, sit in the living room armchair, staring at the silent phone, waiting for a call that never came. He would say, "They'll call, Ellie. The coach said I was like a son. They'll call." They never did. We were discarded, like an empty fast food wrapper. James spiraled into pain and silence. The physical pain was constant. He limped around the house, his knee swollen, taking pills the doctor prescribed like they were candy. But the worst pain was betrayal. He couldn't understand how those people who patted his back and said they loved him could simply pretend he didn't exist. We had to sell the bigger house. We moved back into a smaller apartment. The football money ran out quickly, eaten up by surgeries the team refused to pay for. James, the great tank of the Seahawks, went to work as a night security guard at a warehouse by the port, limping, in the cold and damp, just to put food on the table. Sometimes someone recognized him on the street. "Hey, aren't you that player?" He would lower his head, ashamed of being used, ashamed of believing. He would force a sad smile and say, "I was, a long time ago." I watched that man wear down, not all at once, year after year. Bitterness ate away at him from the inside, along with the pain in his joints. He watched the games on TV and turned them off when the team scored. He couldn't cheer, but he couldn't stop watching either. It was like looking at an ex-lover who broke your heart. The irreversible moment wasn't the injury. The injury was the beginning. The irreversible moment was the day he gave up waiting for humanity from people. It was about 10 years after the injury. He tried to contact the organization to ask for help with a community project here in the neighborhood, for children. He thought that at least for that, his name would still mean something. He put on his best suit, his Sunday suit. He shined his shoes, even though it was hard for him to bend over. He went there full of hope. He came back 2 hours later. I will never forget the look on his face when he walked through the door. He wasn't angry. He was empty. He sat at the kitchen table, slowly loosened his tie and said, "The receptionist didn't even know who I was, Ellie. And when I said my name, she said the schedule was full. They didn't even let me go upstairs." In that moment, something flickered in his eyes and went out forever. He understood that he was never James to them. He was number 42. And without the jersey, number 42 didn't exist. James passed away 5 years ago. His heart, which had endured so many hits, so much weight, simply stopped while he slept. It was quiet. At the funeral, the church was full, but not of the people who appeared on television. It was full of Mr. Marcos from the bakery, Mrs. Sarah who lived downstairs, the guys who worked with him on the night shift at the port. People who knew James limping, people who knew James without money, people who knew the man, not the trophy. No team representative showed up, no flower wreath in blue and green, nothing. And that's why I'm talking to you today, holding this old jersey. Because I am 80 years old, and I see you, the younger ones, running the same race we ran. I see you killing yourselves for companies that would replace you in a week if you died. I see you chasing the approval of internet friends, Followers, people who are only there while you're winning, while you're attractive, while you have something to offer. Society rewards the wrong people. We give our best smiles to strangers. We give our best energy to bosses who don't know our children's names. We spend our money to impress people who don't like us. And who pays the bill? The one who pays the bill is the wife waiting at home, the husband left behind, the children who see their father or mother always tired, always stressed because of important things out there. James spent the best years of his life trying to please a crowd that forgot him the moment he fell. And in the process, he lost the chance to be happy with simple things for a very long time. He carried that bitterness to the end. If I could go back in time, I would tell him, James, drop the ball. Let's go fishing. Let's just walk. Let's take care of those who take care of us. I want you to look at your life right now. Who are the people who would be there if you blew out your knee today and could never get up again? Who would be sitting in a hospital waiting room eating stale vending machine sandwiches at 3 a.m. just to know if you're breathing? Those are the only people who matter. Everything else is noise. Everything else is confetti the wind carries away. Don't make the mistake of giving your best to those who only want your profit. I keep this jersey not because I miss the team. I keep it to remind myself never again to trust anything that loves me only when I am useful. James deserved more than applause. He deserved loyalty. And loyalty is not something you find in packed stadiums. You find it in the silence of a hospital room, in the firm handshake of a friend who has nothing to gain from you, in the coffee poured by someone who saw you cry and didn't walk away. Take care of those who stay when the music stops. Because believe me, 80 years pass in the blink of an eye, and in the end, the only thing that remains is who is holding your hand. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to fold this jersey and put it away at the back of the closet. It's time to make my tea. And today, I will drink my tea in peace, remembering the gentle man who held the door for me, not the player they invented and destroyed. Take care, and choose wisely who you let into the locker room of your life.